All right, so get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into robotics.
Yeah.
And not just any robots. No. We're talking about the kind that could be, like, right down the hall from you making your lunch in the next few years. Seriously. I'm talking cooking, cleaning, heck, even calling the elevator for you. A real-life Rosie the Robot situation. You get me?
And the really cool thing is this isn't just, sci-fi daydreaming anymore. This is real. We're looking at a project straight out of Stanford and Google DeepMind. They've built this robot, and get this, they call it Mobile ALOHA.
Yeah, Mobile ALOHA. And honestly, if you haven't seen the videos of this thing, like actually doing stuff, you got to go find them after this because it's kind of nuts. Mobile ALOHA is seriously raising the bar on what robots can do in our everyday lives,
Yeah.
just hanging out. And the crazy part, it doesn't cost $1 billion like you'd think.
That's actually what makes this a total game changer, right?
Mhm.
You're talking a robot that can do these super complex tasks, and it costs about the same as a decent car, $32,000. That price tag could totally open up the world of robotics beyond just those fancy research labs, you know what I mean?
Okay, so for those of us who aren't like robot whisperers, break it down. What is Mobile ALOHA?
All right, so picture this. You've got a platform on wheels, right? Think like a high-tech rolling cart, but instead of groceries, it's got these two crazy articulated arms.
Okay, so not exactly winning any beauty contest, but it's about what it can do, right? And when we say cook, we're not talking about microwaving popcorn here.
Oh, heck no. This thing can make a three-course meal, seriously. One of the demos, they have it actually cooking shrimp-like, flipping them with a spatula and everything. Think about what goes into that. Knowing what's what, those crazy precise movements, all those steps, kind of wild, right?
And did you see that wine glass thing? It picks up the glass so carefully to clean up a spill underneath. Forget a roommate. I want Mobile ALOHA. But seriously, how does it learn to do all that?
So they use this human-in-the-loop thing to train it. It's basically a person controlling the robot's moves remotely, showing it exactly how to do something. Like, imagine puppeteering, but like way more high-tech. Then they take all that data and use it to train Mobile ALOHA's brain, its AI.
So kind of like how we learn by watching someone else, right? Like an apprenticeship, but for robots.
Exactly. And here's another wild thing. Remember how we were talking about the price being nuts? Well, it's not just that. They actually made the whole project open source.
Wait, so anyone who knows their way around a circuit board could, like, build their own Mobile ALOHA?
That's the idea. That just blew the roof off of how fast this tech could develop, Anyone can tinker with it now. Crazy exciting for the future of robots, I gotta say.
No kidding. But here's where I need a bit more of an explanation. I was reading that they're not using those massive data sets that you usually need to train these things. So how's Mobile ALOHA getting so good, so fast, with what sounds like, I don't know, a Cliff's Notes version of training?
That's where things get really slick. They use a trick called co-training, and it's kind of like, how to put this? Imagine using two cookbooks at the same time.
Okay, you're going to have to walk me through this cookbook thing. I'm into it.
Right. So say you're learning to cook. You could use one cookbook that only has, like, pasta dishes. But wouldn't you learn a lot more and way faster if you had a second cookbook with all sorts of different recipes, like techniques for everything?
Okay, yeah, I think I see where you're going with this whole two cookbooks thing.
Okay.
So Mobile ALOHA is basically getting two different sets of instructions, right? Like two different ways of looking at the problem.
You got it. It's not just learning from actually doing stuff, like we talked about. They're also training it on this whole other data set of, like, static bimanual manipulations. Basically, it's studying how to use its two arms for crazy precise tasks, even if those tasks aren't, directly about cooking or cleaning or whatever.
So it's like building up this general knowledge base of how to move its arms.
Yeah.
And then it can apply that to all sorts of situations.
Exactly. And check this out. This whole co-training thing, it's actually working crazy well. They've seen Mobile ALOHA's success rates go up like 90% when they use this approach. It's basically learning way faster and better because it's pulling from all these different sources.
Man, that's got to have those robotics labs freaking out, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. But okay, let's get real for a sec. How's it do out in the wild? Like, not every kitchen is laid out the same, right?
No.
Did they ever let this thing loose in someone's actual house?
Oh, yeah, they totally did. But before they, unleashed it on some random family's home, they did a bunch of testing in a controlled environment first. They set it up in a real kitchen, though, and even an office building, places that have all that, like, real-life messiness.
Yeah, like, my kitchen counters are never actually clear. So what happens when things get moved around? How'd Mobile ALOHA handle that?
That's what's so wild. They messed with it on purpose, like a lot. Different kitchen layouts, stuff moved around, you name it. And get this. even with all those curveballs, Mobile ALOHA still aced those tasks like cooking and cleaning. Even that whole elevator scenario we were talking about, still super high success rates.
Hold up. Elevator scenario. Wait, are you saying Mobile ALOHA can call an elevator and ride it?
Yeah.
Like by itself?
Yep. And we're not talking about just like poking the button. Think about it.
Yeah.
Figuring out the lobby, dodging stuff, even like getting the timing right to get on. It's a perfect example of how this thing uses both moving around and those super precise movements to do this whole complex thing in the real world. Pretty neat, right?
Dude, you're blowing my mind here. I'm sold. But I gotta imagine it's not all, sunshine and robots making me snacks just yet, right? There's got to be some stuff they're still figuring out, yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's still early days for this whole thing. Mobile ALOHA is a huge leap, don't get me wrong. But even the researchers are like, yeah, this isn't ready to ship out to everyone just yet.
So what's holding it back? What's the catch?
Well, for one, the size. It's not exactly tiny. And yeah, those arms are amazing, but they can only reach so far. Imagine trying to clean those like way back corners in your cabinets or reach that top shelf that everyone seems to have. It'll be struggling right now.
So maybe not the best roommate for a tiny studio apartment just yet, unless you're cool with like a robotic dance partner bumping into you.
Right. And then there's the whole learning thing. Right now, it still needs those like expert teachers to show it exactly what to do. It needs pretty precise instructions. Getting it to learn from like a YouTube video, that's still on the to-do list.
Okay, but it doesn't sound like those are impossible problems to solve, right? I don't know, it just feels like Mobile ALOHA is onto something really massive here.
Totally. That's what's so exciting, right? Think about it. We're already at this point where a robot can cook, clean, even handle an elevator ride. And it's all at a price that's like shockingly doable and with a design that anyone can tinker with. That's huge.
So big picture time.
Yeah.
What does all this actually mean for us normal folks? Are we like on the edge of robots taking over our homes?
Taking over might be pushing it, but I think moving in is definitely more like it. And fast, too. Mobile ALOHA is like this awesome example of what robots can actually do now. It's both super exciting and honestly kind of mind-blowing at the same time.
Yeah, moving in's a great way to put it. It feels like this tech is going to keep getting like smarter and more capable. So where does it even go from here? What's next?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And that's what's so cool about all this. Just imagine, if this is where we're at right now, what's it going to be like in, like, 5 years? 10? Think about it. Smaller, faster robots that can learn by, like, watching a quick YouTube tutorial or even, figure out new stuff on their own. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
So we're not just talking about robots doing the same thing over and over, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about robots that can actually learn, like, solve problems and handle stuff they weren't expecting almost. I don't know, almost human in a way.
Totally. And that opens up a whole world of possibilities, but also a whole bunch of new questions, like
Right.
how is this going to change our everyday lives? What's it going to mean for jobs, the economy? These are things we got to start thinking about now because this tech is only moving faster.
Yeah, it's definitely both exciting and a little bit like, whoa, hold on a sec, all at the same time. But that's what I love about these deep dives, We don't just walk away with some fun facts. We actually end up looking at the world a bit differently.
100%. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Sparking that curiosity and getting people to think about what these advancements really mean. Because let's be real, this stuff has the potential to like really change the world in some big ways.
For sure. So to everyone listening, here's a little something to think about as you go about your day. What if this was just the beginning? What if this whole Mobile ALOHA thing is really just a peek into a future where robots aren't just, machines, but they're actually like collaborators, helpers, maybe even, I don't know, companions? It's something to think about because that future might be closer than we think. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Catch you next time.